most damaging relationship patterns ain't arguing, disagreeing, or even making mistakes. It's what happens when partners refuse to look at their own part. You can love your partner deeply and still be damaging the relationship if every conflict ends with you explaining why they are the problem. So you might be hurting your relationship without realizing it. And it may have nothing to do with what you're doing wrong. It may have to do with what you're refusing to take responsibility for. If your partner tells you that they felt hurt by something you said or did, and your first response is, well, you did this, you may be stuck in a pattern of low accountability. Here's a question worth asking. Are you less accountable in your relationship than you realize? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dominique Martin, a licensed therapist. Today, we're talking about a damaging relationship pattern, lack of accountability. So, lack of accountability is one of those relationship habits that can quietly create distance, resentment, and emotional disconnection. And accountability don't mean taking all the blame. It means being willing to honestly look at your part and what's happening between you and your partner. So, why do people struggle with accountability in relationships? Often, it's because accountability sometimes feels uncomfortable. For some people, admitting I hurt you feels like admitting that I'm not being a supportive partner. Others may have grown up in families where mistakes were criticized or used against them. So when a partner brings up a concern, they may feel the need to defend themselves. And sometimes partners haven't learned the difference between accountability and blame. So blame says, this is your fault. Accountability says, here's what I did, here's how it affected you, and here's what I want to do differently. So let me say this. You can be accountable without accepting responsibility for something that you didn't do. And your partner can be accountable for their behavior while you remain accountable for yours. Healthy relationships require partners willing to examine themselves, not just each other. So, what does a lack of accountability actually look like? Here are some common signs. First is deflecting. So, your partner brings up something that felt hurtful, and you immediately respond with something that they did wrong. Second is minimizing. So, for example, saying something like, it wasn't that serious, or you making a big deal out of nothing is a way of minimizing. Third is explaining instead of acknowledging. So you spend so much time explaining why you behaved a certain way that you never acknowledge the impact of your behavior. Fourth is conditional apologies. So, for example, saying, I'm sorry, but you. An apology that immediately shifts responsibility back onto your partner often don't repair the hurt. Fifth is keeping score. So you start treating accountability like a competition. So I'll admit what I did when you admit what you did. And six is repeating behaviors without making meaningful changes. So you may apologize after every conflict, but if the same behavior continues over and over, your partner may eventually stop trusting the apology. When accountability is missing, something important happens in the relationship. So the partner who has experienced the hurt may start carrying the emotional burden of the relationship. So they may feel like that they have to explain themselves repeatedly just to be heard, or they may stop bringing up concerns because they assume that they already know how the conversation will go. Or they may become resentful, or they may begin walking on eggshells. And eventually, they may stop expecting repair altogether. That's a damaging place for a relationship to be, because healthy relationships don't depend on never disappointing each other. They depend on being able to repair after disappointments happen. Without accountability, conflict may become a pattern. So something happens, one partner raises the concern, The other gets defensive and the original issue gets lost. And partners may become frustrated and nothing changes. Then the same problem happens again. And over time, the relationship accumulates unresolved hurts. So, how do you become more accountable in your relationship? Here are 5 steps. One is pause before defending yourself. So, when your partner tells you that something you did felt hurtful, resist the urge to immediately explain. Take a break or a breath and ask, can you help me understand what that was like for you? You don't have to agree with every perspective to become curious about your partner's experience. Two is name your specific behavior. So, specific accountability is much more meaningful than a vague apology. Three is separate intent from impact. So, you may have not intended to hurt your partner, but your intention don't automatically minimize the impact. So, for example, accountability may sound something like, I didn't intend to hurt you, and I understand that what I did hurt you. I'm sorry. Or is stop using your partner's mistakes to avoid addressing your own. So if your partner did something hurtful, that deserves a conversation too. But don't use their behavior as an excuse from owning your responsibility. 5 is turn accountability into change behavior. So ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? The goal ain't to become a perfect partner. The goal is to become someone who can recognize their impact, repair, and make an effort to do better. So here's a question to consider. When conflict happens in your relationship, are you more focused on proving that your partner is wrong or proving a point, or understanding your own contributions to the problem? Accountability ain't about taking all the blame, it's about taking responsibility for the part that belongs to you. And when partners can do that, conflict becomes more about repairing, understanding, and reconnecting. A healthy relationship don't require perfect partners. It requires partners who are willing to take responsibility for how they show up. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more relationship insights. As always, stay motivated, and I'll see you on the next video.